Hello, this is John Mack, and yesterday on May 11th, I hosted my first ever Zoom Meet Mack Monday. There were about 12 participants, including Bob Lutz, who is the co-owner of the Green Parrot Restaurant, and Eric Scott Gold, who is the owner of East Coast Event Group, and Carol Richardson, president of the Newtown Mercantile Group. You'll hear from these people in the following video recording. There were a few technical issues and a few people couldn't make the meeting, and I didn't record the whole session, so the following is only about 45 minutes, and it's mostly focused on the idea of Newtown Bingo, which is a concept proposed by Bob Lutz and Eric Gold, based on activities in similar towns that attempt to help local businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. The idea is for 25 businesses to participate and each having a square on the bingo board. Players who are local residents must order a meal or item of a minimum specific value from 5 businesses, all in a row or diagonal of the card. And there'll be 3 winners chosen at random if there are more than 3 people in 2 weeks who have achieved bingo. And there will be 1 grand prize winner. Now, more details can be found about this Newtown Bingo at the website www.newtownbingo.com, or you can contact Eric Scott Gold by email at Eric Scott, that's 2 T's, ERICSCOTT Gold 215 @gmail.com, or call him at 215-750-2600. So again, the following conversation via the Zoom meeting amongst the people, some of the people I mentioned, focuses mainly on how people can sign up more businesses to Newtown Bingo. After the conversation, it was decided to include retail merchants as well as restaurants in both Newtown Township and Newtown Borough. So here is the following, here is the conversation that we had during my Zoom meeting. Thank you.
Because they're going to have a prize, and then they're going to, there's like a grand prize. So people are going to want to do it.
So I have a suggestion, Eric, in order to spread the goodness of this type of event. What about instead of the cash prize that you're giving, you give gift certificates to stores?
We could do that if the
regular
stores
retail
are in.
stores.
I mean, we could do that if the stores are in. I just don't, I don't have the manpower to go to every store and a lot of these stores are not open right now. So like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go to talk to people to do this, to get prize out. Like a place like Anthropology would be great. I don't know her phone number or email address. When you call the store, she's not there. But there's other places that I think would be great for this, like retail based. I just, if you're like a small business, you can just go right to the owner. But if you're not a small business, like I've had some other places interested. Like I've had like Arini's Pizza or Arini's in Ewing. But if I gotta let them in, I gotta let other people in. I'm trying to keep this based in Newtown. Like El Barrio wanted in. If I gotta let them in, then I gotta tell Aldo. It's like, hey, why'd you tell me? I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to keep this in Newtown, and if I have like retailers in Newtown, that'd be great. But I can't get a hold of them because nobody's there.
I'll help you. In the borough?
Wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
In the borough, I have connections to about 45 retail stores or business.
That would be incredible.
Stores.
That'd be amazing.
So that's why I wanted your information so that I could send out to our members. And then we'll just have them get in touch with you. But I think I would like the idea of, and I love the collaboration with the restaurant owners, but it would be nice. The retail people are really hurting because they are the ones that have been completely shut down. There's no drive-through you know, takeout kind of thing. They can do online shopping or curbside pickup or something, but that's very limited for a real retail store.
I would do three food
Can't
places
hear
in
you,
a
Eric.
row.
Something happened.
What happened? Did you lose me?
No, I
Hello?
got you now.
I hear you.
I would do three food places in a row and two retail places in a line. So if you get bingo, you have to go food, retail, food, retail, food. I have no issue with that. I just didn't know who to call because nobody was open. And I'm a member of the Newtown Business Association, and I'm part of the entertainment crew. It's like me and Bill. That's pretty much it's pretty much the entertainment side. It's me and Bill Sheffer. So I didn't know. I wasn't sure who to call because nobody's there. And
I mean,
he didn't
I
really
also know a
either.
lot of people on the main block of the borough right there.
Mhm.
Very good friends with Kathleen McCafferty from the Pro Shop in Newtown.
Mhm.
She obviously knows a ton of people as well. My question is, I know Glenn is going to inquire, like, how many free meals do you think are going to have to, what do you think is going to be the average? Because he's going to, like, I know, I just have a feeling Glenn will be like, well, we're hurting. So by discounting something, is that really helping us? Like, I can just see that it being a question of his. So
I just look at it from you have to go to you can't go to you can't fill a bingo square twice a day. That's going to be one of the rules. It has to be at least a 5-day minimum to fill it. So you can't go to all 5 stores in a
Okay.
bingo line in one day. You
Okay.
have to get a receipt. And then when that's done, I'm going to do like what I thought was the first 3 people to get a bingo are going to win.
Okay.
And then I was also going to say the first person that fills the bingo board, my company's going to take care of the grand prize.
Uh-huh.
So I was going to say, okay, we're going to start on this day, which I would hope would be a Friday. That would make the most sense to me. And then you only have you have to do basically you have to do it within a matter of like the minimum you can do it is 5 days.
Yeah.
Which would deter a lot of people away from restaurants Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some people might just do it 5 straight days and you're done. Because they might want to win that bad. Some people might say, okay, I'm going to wait and hold off on this. Or you could say, you know what, if you get a bingo, I'm not saying this is just coming in my head right now, you're eligible for like the grand prize. So if you get a bingo between now and this date, you have 2 weeks to get a bingo. Then we're going to draw 3 names out of a hat and you're going to get the prizes. That's also capable of doing. So there's numerous ways of doing this. I was trying to brainstorm with people tonight to see what's the best way. The only person in this group that I really talked on a regular, I talk to John now, is Bobby, because Bobby and I do a lot of work together. But I've been to the Temperance House. I've been to Isaac's. I do the Brew Fest for Glenn.
Okay. Okay. 'Cause,
So
I mean, it's just so when I come to him with all this information, so
it's not going to put anybody out of pocket whatsoever, other than maybe like a couple meals. But if you can get 25 meals and 25 families coming, and then you have to give away 2 meals. I've learned from Bobby, thank you, Bobby, about like food costs and what like food costs actually is, and I think it'd be worth it in the long run. Plus, you might get some extra customers that may not have come to your place before, saying, "Okay, I have to go there to get a bingo. I'm going to do it." And some of these people might say, "Okay, well, if now there's retail stores." I've lived in Newtown for the last 3 years, but I lived in Holland my entire life. So I went to Council Rock. I went to Holland Middle. I've been living in Newtown Crossing, but technically, if you live in Holland, you're technically, back in the day, that was just Aldo's and Village Shire, so you hung out in Newtown and goodness. So I know all of these establishments. I don't know every store that's on that main strip there, where Rocco's and Temperance House. I have no clue what's there. I just know what happened. I lost somebody. I just know once a year they have a sale that goes on till like midnight where you can shop, and my wife takes me out to that to that night, and we walk around the borough and we just go to stores. But I couldn't tell you honestly what stores were even on that strip, and half the stores that are in some of these shopping centers, I don't even know they're there.
yeah.
Eric, I am
Yeah.
the president of that organization,
Awesome.
and I can give you, those are the connections I spoke to you about. So
That
I'll
would be
talk to you
amazing.
offline on this.
That would be incredible. So what I would like to do is I would like to have in each corner of the bingo board, I'd like to have, like a major restaurant. I'd like to have, obviously in the middle, because it was Bobby's idea, I'm going to stick the Green Parrot. I would like to have on the 4 other sides, maybe like a smoothie place or a ice cream place. Like I want Good Nose involved. I can't find her. I've talked to the front desk twice, and I talked to two kids that said they would tell her, but I haven't heard back from her. Not saying that,
Caketeria would be another good one.
well, somebody else. I would love to have them. I think the chocolate place was in. I think the coffee shop was in. Guru's was in. Well, John has a whole list there that he put up a minute ago, which he can send you. But I'm just trying to fill the board of 25 spaces. You know, I would love to have a place like Anthropology. I would love. There's a place on the Strip that they sell. God, they sell so many like cool things. Like you walk in the front door and there's like there's books there, and then as you walk back, there's pottery, and then you walk all the way back down the steps, and it goes all the way to the back. That's David Witchell.
That's Mitchell.
That's yeah. I mean, they sell a ton of stuff there. And I would love to have him on board. Maybe, you know, you say, but the problem is with that you can't give out a haircut right now if there's nobody open for a haircut. So, you know.
So when is this going to start? What is the time frame?
I would love as soon as possible. My wife's a graphic designer. She's going to make the bingo board. My company's going to host it. All I have to do is just make it, and that's all free of charge for everybody involved. We'll just put it up on the site. People can get it. People can download the bingo board, get it out, and then they can go immediately. I want to start either, you know, this Friday, next Friday, you know, the sooner the better. The sooner I get it out, the sooner everybody makes money.
So
and I'm not asking for a dime for this. I don't want a dime.
That's the issue with retail.
Mm-hmm.
The pro shop is doing a fabulous job. Gigi's, a lot of them are doing a lot of fantastic things online.
Yeah.
But they're not opening the doors, so you can't get a bingo mark off from an online sale.
I just need a receipt.
Okay.
I don't need them to actually physically show me anything. I just need a receipt.
Okay.
So as long as they can give me proof of purchase that they actually made a purchase. Like sometimes, I'll give you an example. And like I said, I can only use the Green Parrot for this example. People come and they order something. They meet outside. They bring out food. They give a receipt. I'm not expecting somebody to walk outside with a stamp and stamp everybody's car.
Okay,
You know,
gotcha.
Playa Bowls has a bunch of young ladies working there. They walk out with the food, they hand it over, and people walk away. I'm not expecting that kind of, you know, I'm not expecting everybody to have like a stamp, but as long as they have like a proof of receipt, that's really all I need. And the receipt has to be 5 separate days.
And I think your idea about setting up a time frame to let everyone qualify, essentially get their name in a hat, and that gets more people to play. Because if you choose the first few, everybody else figures they're out. If you say from this time to that time, and then pick a name out of the hat, you'll drive more traffic.
I think that'd be great. I think we give them a 2 or 3 week window.
Yeah.
Where they can get a bingo. If they get a bingo within the 2 or 3 week window, we'll put their names in a hat. We'll pull out 3 names, and now those 3 names will get a free meal anywhere from 2 to 5 people on that space. So if you have 3 names per, if you have 5 names per line, and let's say you get 3 winners total, the chances of each winner having the same line is probably slim. I mean, like Bobby being in the middle would probably have the Green Parrot or somebody in a corner. But if you're one of the other spaces, the chances of you being pulled out of those 3 winners is, 1 out of 5, maybe, so your chances of getting pulled are 20%. So you only have 20% chance of giving out 1 free meal, much less 3. But then your name is on every single bingo board. And I've talked to a lot of moms in Newtown Crossing, and they said we would play because it sounds like a fun time and something to do. It's a challenge. It's like the McDonald's thing. When you go to McDonald's, you have to play the actual, whatever that's called, like the Monopoly. And people do it all the time. My mother does it religiously. She never wins, but she does it. So and she just enjoys it.
What I was trying to do was when I order, when I'm ordering, can people hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. When I went to Francesco's, for example, I brought along a copy of that invitation letter and said, people are trying to get this started and maybe you guys should get involved. And I left off that leaflet with them, but they had objections. I don't know the exact details, but if you know people in Newtown Crossing or wherever who are interested in this, you should.
Oh no, I just have people. I have people interested in playing. Like I
Yeah,
have
but if
about,
they're interested in playing,
yeah,
they should be interested in recruiting restaurants, their favorite restaurant, maybe that's not on the list, or their favorite business. And they should take the copy of the, you can't go around talking to all these, but
oh no.
even if they give it to an employee and say,
Hmm.
please, this is for, the owner, can you pass it on to them?
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
that would help recruit.
I mean, I have like 12 or 13 or 14 restaurants now and food places. If I can get another 10 places that do like retail in Newtown, that's fine with me. It doesn't have to be all. I mean, I've had people that are not in the food industry asked to be part of this, and I kind of said, I'll get back to you because I don't know.
Okay, well, the only thing that I could do beyond what I've already done is I could mention this at the supervisors meeting on Wednesday.
That's
So,
perfect. And if anybody can help out, that's great. And if we can start next Friday, I'll get the board made up. I'll have my wife take care of that. We'll host it on the site. Everybody, all the 25 businesses will post it, and I'm sure that'll get some traction.
What's your deadline of needing to know from the businesses?
I mean, there's no deadline. It's like obviously the sooner I can get it out there, the quicker people start to make extra money. It's not really a big like for me. It doesn't benefit me at all. I'm just I just love Bobby and I want to help, and I love Newtown and I want to help. So I'm just like whatever I can do to help. I don't even own anything in Newtown. I just want to help you guys. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to use my resources and the things that I do. I'm a wedding DJ who runs a photography, videography, photo booth company. We have, a ton of people. And my boss lives in Ivyland. All his kids went to Council Rock. I went to Council Rock. I live in Newtown, so whatever I can do to help you guys out, I'm here to help.
Awesome.
well, hopefully, something will come out of this. I don't know what else the township itself can do to help, but if there are any ideas regarding that, I'd like to hear about it. I think Mr. Lutz has talked to me a little bit about some of his ideas. You want to say anything, Bob?
Well, I think everybody's going to be hurting, and when they get back in, they're not going to operate full. They might be operating at 40%, 50%. So we're going to have to think of ways outside the box where we can turn around and get a draw and be able to make money to pay our bills, because I don't believe that mortgage and rent is going to be less than 100% for long. So unless we want to board up places in the town, which would look horrible, and less revenue for Newtown by not getting the taxes, we have to think of things to help this the retail and the restaurants get along with this. And whether it's expanding their footprint and outside space so they can properly distance everybody, whether there's some type of coercive plan so we can turn around and kind of help each other along in a bad time. I just had Action News interview me at the Parrot, and obviously Wolf didn't come out and was pro opening the businesses, and it's going to be a really turbulent and pensive time. And I got 45 people that work for me that are very, very scared.
Well, that's another thing about, you mentioned having a plan. This seems to be a problem that they don't, I don't know where you're going to get some guidelines for a restaurant, say, for example. What should you be doing? How should you be protecting the employees and the patrons? Because if the people who want to come to your restaurant don't feel that it's safe, no matter what we do, the business is going to be down. And I heard something on Nextdoor about a order that was placed at a Newtown restaurant, and they really complained that they weren't wearing any protective masks or gloves when they were serving, and this was just takeout. And so they said, I'll never go back there. So that's might, happen unless there's some real guidelines about how do you go about opening your business.
Well,
And, this may not be something, if it were up to me, I would get together I would get together a task force of business people to come up with that kind of, guidelines. But
well,
it's
here's
not
my
up to
thing.
me, so.
Here's my thing, John. Honestly, like I said, I don't own a business in Newtown, so I understand that America has to get back to where America was, and I think we all understand that. Regardless if we're Republican, Democrat, Liberal, it doesn't matter. We all know it has to get back. But I think starting with our town and starting with the 18940, I think at this time we have to just worry about each other and then worry about America as a whole later. And I think that trying to come together as a bunch of businesses to kind of help each other out, there's people out there, and like I said, I live in Newtown Crossing. I talk to all the moms all the time, especially all the moms who have kids at Good Nose. We just became really friendly, and I know at least 40 of them now, and they're not only confused, they're upset that their kids aren't graduating. They're upset. Like the president of Council Rock North, she lives in my development. Her mother is, very into what's going on. She's sad because her daughter spent all this time to be the president of the school, and now she can't even have a prom, and the graduation is going to be virtual, and that was just released today. And we're all trying to figure out ways to make everybody happy and do things. And I think that if people just stay local and keep it local, that everybody is going to be able to help each other out. And whether or not this bingo works for all the restaurants or some restaurants, it's going to be a way of people coming together and helping out small businesses that are all in the area that have thrived for a long time and will continue to thrive. And I think that's the way to look at it. I think it's not so much of, trying to figure out ways to, what's going to happen 6 months from now. Let's figure out today and tomorrow and take it one day at a time and not make each other crazy.
My point is, if you're not well organized, if the businesses, they have these associations, I mean, we've got representatives here, but other than listing the restaurants that are open or businesses that are open, how are they helping to make sure that there is a smart strategy for how to reopen businesses? I mean, you're talking about restaurants, they have a particular type of problem. Other retail stores have other problems. It's not just distancing, but, all the CDC guidelines just say distancing and wear a mask. I mean, that may not be the end all of what businesses need to make sure they're doing so that the people who are coming to them have confidence that they're going to be in a safe environment. I mean, I'm a person, of a certain age that I am one of the susceptible types. And even when the township opens up, we don't have live meetings. If we have a live meeting at the township supervisors and I'm sitting next to people, I want to know that, who's ever coming into that room is, for example, have been tested or, not carrying this virus into my environment. Wearing masks is not going to really help me very much. I don't think, I don't even have a proper mask. So, people have concerns, and I just expressed what my concern was, just attending the next live supervisors meeting, whenever that is. I don't know when that's going to be. So, basically, it varies by business about how they're handling this. And I don't know, Bob, if you want to say something. I know you're not open yet for business, but you're doing some takeout, basically. Is that correct?
We just started Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we did 5 hours a day, so we're only open 15 hours. This week we're going to do 4 days, but we had the masks, we had the gloves, we had the place sanitized, had a sanitizing company come in.
Mm-hmm.
I got involved with to spray the whole place down, kitchen, all the rooms, all the stools, all the bathrooms, and wipe everything down. We're social distancing. We're taking everybody's temperature in the morning when they come in. We're taking everybody's temperature when they leave and recording all those things. We're open for any suggestions, but when I was putting the takeout sign, a guy yelled at me, "I don't feel comfortable in a restaurant." And I said, "Sir, that's your prerogative. I'm not grabbing you and making you come in." You know, we know that there's going to be a quarter of the people that are not going to go to restaurants. I get it. That's why it's going to be more difficult. So you have to do what you can to say there's a disclosure on our website of everything we have done, you know, but you get a guy that turns around and comes in for takeout the other day. They're not allowed in the building and left me $1,000 check and said, "We need you in town." Now it starts to, you know, you start to get a little bit perplexed and say, "Hey, wow, I mean, that gets you a little motivation to keep on going."
Mm-hmm.
And it's heartbreaking. It's not going to be, even when they let us go back in, it's not going to be easy. You know, there's a lot of us who are not going to make it, and I hope I'm not one of the fatalities.
Well, it's you know, my next door neighbor where I work owns a cleaning supply company, and what he does, just so you guys know, is he is producing industrial grade cleaners. So this is one of the products that he produces. It's a foam hand sanitizer, and this is another one. It's an industrial grade cleaner that people put on top of, and he's manufacturing millions of dollars worth of this stuff a week. And he said that all the venues are going to have hand sanitizer and cleaner, and that's what's going to get all the venues through, or all the businesses through, in actual, you know, every day you come in, you do hand sanitizer. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a bad thing if you think about it, to have people clean. I mean, the amount of people now who are clean versus not being clean is amazing, because now you have a clean society. But if this is the standard norm, and this is all you have to do to get people clean and make sure that people aren't sick, this isn't the end of the world. You know what I mean? I mean, this is actually a good thing.
Well,
but the perception with some people is, even when it does come back, they're not going to feel safe, and I get it.
Well, some people might and some people might not. But, you know, I'm trying with this whole bingo thing to get people at least to come. If people don't feel, if people don't, like, I was, the other day, I was at the Mack and we did a drive-through, and there were over 1,000 cars that came through, and there were probably 20 characters, and I was out there DJing, and Jim Worthington's on the roof as Captain America. That's a whole different conversation. But, you know, and I watched every car come through, and not one car was wearing a mask, and there were kids, and there were adults, and there were, the staff was out there, and nobody was wearing a mask. Everybody was happy and having a good time. While I do understand that this might be how life is going to be for a while, eventually you're going to have to weigh the what's good versus what's bad. Is it better to be in business and to worry about a disease, or is it better to be home and have people? My buddy's a cop in the city. Suicides are up. Child abuse is up. Crime is up. It's all up. So you weigh the good with the bad. I understand that the disease is terrible and people don't want to do it and they want to stay home. But you have the other end of it, is people killing themselves and people committing suicide. And the one that I took, I mean, my dog passed away a month ago and I didn't cry, but I cried when I found out that child abuse in the city was up, because that was terrible. That was really rough. And kids are not getting meals because they can't go to school to get them, because they were getting 2 meals a day at school. And that's hard. That's really hard. And I think we need to just all come together as a community and just help each other out. And I think every community across the world needs to do that. I think Horsham, Newtown, Holland, you know, Doylestown, every community needs to say, we're going to stick together and we're going to do this together first. And then from there, we're going to branch out and help out, and we're going to do it as a whole. And if we can start in Newtown, that'd be great. And this is where we are. And these are the people that care about us. And these are where our businesses are.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Newtown. We're not solving the whole problem of
we can't.
of the country. And, you know, as a supervisor, I'm particularly interested in what people think the township can do. I don't know if we can do very much at all. But, you know, any ideas that people have, I'd be interested in hearing about. And the problem is, I know that this might have gotten better discussion at the township meetings if they were in person, but unfortunately, we have meetings now by Zoom, and it's very difficult to get this kind of conversation going with supervisors via Zoom. But
Well, anybody can just do what anybody can do. If you can just, if everybody that's listening can just tell 2 or 3 people, Bobby has a relationship across the street with the restaurant across the street. Carol, you said you had a relationship with a lot of different people in the township. I'm sure, Margaret, I'm sure you know a couple people in your area right there who might even do retail. Nancy, I see you watching with, I guess that's your husband. I'm sure you probably know a couple people. Charlie, Tim, and Margaret, I don't see photos, but I'm sure hopefully somebody's listening down there. I look at it from the perspective of, if we can all just ask one person. My next door neighbor is Sal and Carmela. They own Aquafarino and how do you say it again, Krista?
Aquafarina.
Vecchia Stereo by Pasquale. I just walked across the street and I was talking to them. They're both restaurants are in just by having a conversation. My wife's boss is Paul Muller from Toyota. He's going to go and talk to the owner of La Stalla. They're best friends. So I mean, everybody knows somebody. So it's if we can just all jump on board and just find that I know Chloe and Dan Kim whose father owns Oishi. I'm going to reach out to them next and say, listen, do you guys want in? And that will probably bring in KO if they decide they want to do it. Roxanne or Rosie, I forget her first name from Nothing But Cake. She's in. The wonderful woman at Pliable. She's going to be in. And any retail stores I can get, that'd be great. I mean, I just want to do this for you guys and just get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know Paul's really good friends with the guy from Rocco's too. Is Rocco's on there? I mean,
I don't know if they're open. Are they?
I thought they were doing something, but I could be wrong.
I have no idea. I know Harvest stopped because it just wasn't like cost effective. I know Jules is still doing business, but the owner, I guess she lives in Doylestown, so I haven't gotten to her yet because I just can't find her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Vince is I'm gonna go after Heather again and figure out why Heather hasn't called me back. But there's some places like I would love to have Rita's. I don't know if they can or not. Are they corporate?
They're franchises.
I know Rita's.
So I don't know even who to call.
I know
have
Rita's.
No
I can ask them.
That'd be great.
I can reach out to Jules too because I'm the PTO president at Goodnow,
Mm.
and I know we do our family nights with them for kickbacks. I guess they give 10% of our 15% of our checks back to Goodnow,
Mm-hmm.
and I know the chairperson for that might have someone's email, so I can look into that for you.
So then what Goodnow's moms are doing right now for Goodnow, so we can have that conversation offline. But,
what I found useful was to go to their Facebook pages and send a message. A lot of them allow you to send a message, or their Instagram accounts, and that I found to be pretty useful, even though the people running those sites are not the owners. They can know the owners and they'll transmit the messages, and I got responses that way.
Well, John, how many people do you have now? How many people right now are on that list that you just popped up about 20 minutes ago?
I think there's about 13, is there?
Okay,
Something
so
like
then
that?
I need 25, so we're halfway there. If we
Yeah,
can just get another 12 people, and I don't care at this point who they are, as long as they're in Newtown. I'm fine with that. I got Slacks Hoagies on board. I went to Marco's, but that didn't work. The guy that came out didn't really speak English.
Listen, you know what you can do, please? I mean, you need contacts of the owners. The Newtown Township has issued permits to every owner of every business. I, as a supervisor, cannot go to the manager and say, give me that list. However, this is, I believe, public information that you have a right to know, and you can send in a request asking for that information, and you'll get it on a disc, and you pay $3 and whatever by email.
Yeah.
And you might get more direct information about who owns what business in town.
I guess now, my point is that if everybody watching, are you guys all in for whatever?
There's only 10 people here, Eric.
That's okay. Listen. Just because there's 10 people doesn't mean that's not a voice. I look
Of
at it
course,
in the fact
I know that, but
Yeah.
you know, we need a better and quicker way to sign on businesses. And I had thought that, you know, businesses who are already signed on could, you know, help other businesses get the information out to them as well. But
Yeah, I'm on State Street with Margaret too, so I'm in the coffee room. So again, we're friendly with a lot of people on the street, so we can kind of start contacting people and getting the word out that way.
yeah,
I
talk to
kind of want to
Becky.
follow up with Margaret's question though, when she asked about how many meals you would be giving away.
Mhm.
Not that we'd have meals, it's just coffee and snacks, but like in theory, everybody that plays could get bingo and you could be on that and they could pick you. Like it's not just going to be one, right? It will be like
We're going to
whoever.
pick 3 winners. We're going to pick 3 winners. Like I came in with a different mindset, but as we were talking, I think my mindset's changed on this. I think we're going to do a 2-week contest. Everybody that gets a bingo within the 2 weeks is going to get thrown into a hat, and we're going to pull out 3 names. And those 3
Oh,
names are
okay.
going to.
I thought it was like
no.
if you won bingo, you got.
No, we're gonna give them. I came in with that mindset, but then as we were talking, my mindset changed.
Okay.
We're gonna do 3 winners. Those 3 winners are gonna get either 2 to 5. I mean, maybe we can just do all 5 places. We'll give all 3 winners. That's like crazy incentive. And then if somebody gets all 25 spaces, my company, East Coast Event Group, is going to give them a cash prize out of our own pocket.
Right. Okay.
So I got to figure out with me and my buddy how much of a cash prize that is. So, but if it's a $500 cash prize and it's worth it to have everybody to have multiple people go to 25 businesses, listen, trust me when I say this. If I come to your business in the next 4 or 5 months, I'm sure you'll take care of me. So I'm not really concerned about it. So whatever I got to do to make sure you guys are taken care of, you know, I'll do it because I'm a member of the NBA. One of my best friends is Beverly Dimler, who was the president of the NBA for the longest time. She's helped me out as much as she can humanly possibly can, and we're just trying to help out Newtown. We have nothing invested in Newtown. We're just trying to help you guys.
That's great. Thank you. And thank you for reaching out to the shops and restaurants in the borough too, not just keeping it township. Like,
yeah, I mean, I was by myself until John jumped in and said, I'm going to help you. And John, thank you. I mean, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate the help. Honest to God. I mean, this has been great. I can't do this by myself. And like I said, if we can get 25 businesses on without like beating a dead horse, if I can get it by Sunday, we'll start Friday.
Margaret.
Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Kumar, we also talked earlier about possibly not excluding it only to restaurants, but possibly businesses as well.
Yes, I was listening. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Nancy, is that Nancy's husband? What
Eric.
were you saying? I'm sorry. go ahead.
Yes, I'm Nancy's husband. Eric,
Hi.
how can I help? I own a franchise cleaning company, and we have environmentally friendly products, but on the other side, maybe I can help out financially.
What do you mean?
Money?
Oh, no, I know what you meant, but like,
I mean, how can I help?
well, I mean, you said you own an environmentally friendly products. Like, are you talking like hand sanitizer and like cleaning solutions and stuff
Neutral
like that?
disinfectant, hospital grade products that clean just like as if in their an ICU, because this is what I do, right? I own a franchise residential cleaning company, and we only have hospital grade cleaning products.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking like hand sanitizer and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, listen, I think everybody on this chat could use hand sanitizer, and that would be a great way of saying, okay, we're all going to have clean hands, and you know, you can, if you have hand sanitizer for all the venues, for all the places that are here.
I have the mother load of hand sanitizer. Excuse me, I'm tired.
It's okay.
I had dinner and 2 glasses of wine. But anyways.
Vodka, I'm good. I got
it. All right. Anyways, so if I can help out, please.
Eric, I'm a bit confused about the prizes. Is it specific, or are you still considering what type of prize if you're bringing in other businesses?
I think we should do this. I think at this point in time, with the ideas that we've had, I think we should have one bingo board, and we should have everybody get bingo, and then we'll pull out 3 names. I think those 3 names who are pulled out, like I said, the chances of all 3 names having the same bingo is probably very slim. I think we should then say, okay, we're going to give everybody that gets a bingo out of those 3 names that we pulled out. What is that?
John, can you mute?
Yes, we've been hacked or something.
He did it.
Yeah.
So we're going to have all 3 of those names who win. I would think at this point in time, because we're only going to have 3 people, and probably the chances of you having a bingo on the same slot are minimum, get a free meal of equal or lesser value from the whole bingo board, meaning the 5 slots that you filled.
All right, you're gonna stick with restaurants? Is that it?
No. We're gonna do restaurants, and if that doesn't work by Saturday, we're gonna do retail.
By this Saturday?
By this Saturday. If that doesn't work with just restaurants, we'll loop in the retail. So by next Friday we can go. And then, like I said, if anybody fills in the entire bingo board, the person that fills in the entire bingo board, my company will take care of the cash prize.
Oh, I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's
And
a
then-
cash prize for
Yes.
the entire bingo board.
And then also I have some really good sponsors for this too. Like I said, Bobby has a restoration company that goes in there and they spray the entire building. Nancy's husband has hand sanitizer and cleaning products. So we probably have somebody else here that has something else, and we can just make the whole thing. Hey, Newtown, guess what? We'll sanitize your place. We'll clean your place. We'll keep your hands safe. We're going to give you a prize, and we're also going to make sure that everybody eats and is fed, and some retail stores are going to get involved, and we'll make sure it's a big game throughout all of Newtown. We'll take care of it. I also probably can get Goondo Elementary School because, Margaret's the PTO president, and I know the principal, Ms. Crawford, and I know Nicole Lieberman's one of my best friends, that we can get everybody else there involved too, from Goodno, Newtown Crossing. I can get involved. I don't know anybody on the other side, like on the other side of the shopping center area, whatever those 2 developments are. And then anybody down by Raintree, I'm not really sure about them, but I have some real estate agents who I can get involved with helping push this, and we could just make a big thing where everybody benefits.
Well, the problem is, I've asked people to help, and I'm not getting much kind of direct response. So it's sometimes difficult for people, just as it is difficult for you to go and talk to these businesses. So we need the business associations, I think, to coordinate a lot of this.
I got Bill Sheffer, Mick Petrucci, and Beverly Dimmler on board as of today.
What's the NBA going to do?
Well, Beverly's just going to help me out with all her contacts that she knows, and Beverly knows a lot of people. Mick's being the judge, he knows a lot of people too. And then Bill, who's the president of the NBA, he's going to help me out by pushing this out. And I got to 285 email addresses of the entire NBA, which I've been pushing out. But there's a lot of people that aren't on the Newtown Business Association that I need to get to, and those are the ones that I don't know. So if everybody can just
doesn't the NBA have a virtual card exchange or something?
Oh, I have all their email addresses. I have all the information.
No. I mean,
No, they're not
doing that. No, we're not doing that because it just doesn't make sense to do it.
No, you're on Zoom. You can actually talk about it to people.
Yeah, but they don't have anything set up right now. The business card exchange is the first Wednesday of every month, and then the last Thursday of every month is the actual breakfast. But the business card exchange is designed to have conversations all going on at the same time, and that's hard to do on Zoom because you have to mute everybody, have like one person talk, another person talk.
Well,
so
how are they doing? I thought they were going to do that anyway.
I don't know what they're doing or what they're not doing. I haven't really heard anything about specifically. I think we're doing what's called Coffee with Coaches on Couches, and that's every morning at 10:30. We're doing another member of the NBA comes on, and they have a half-an-hour seminar, and they can talk about like different things that they're offering.
So why don't you get on there?
I was. I
You
already
were?
did.
Oh.
I had a half-an-hour seminar about social media. But
How
to be
many
honest
were in
with you-
attendance?
Thank you. But to be honest with you, nobody's really watching it anyway. We average like 20 viewers. So it's not, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and I don't know if the girl that runs the social media of the Newtown Business Association is going to do that based on the fact that some of the businesses that are going to be involved in this are not members of the NBA, so they haven't paid dues for the year. And while I don't want to comment on how I think that she's handled that situation, I think that part of their reasoning for kind of standing off of it is because they don't want to promote non-MBA members on the MBA site out of fear that
All
somebody's
right.
going to rebel.
Okay, I get it. Let me just mention that the township manager has said that if you do get this launched, we'll be glad to put on the township website the information about the bingo.
That's great.
And the township also has a cable TV stations where they can put up a slide or something. I don't know if they'll necessarily promote it before it gets launched, but after it gets launched at least. So
that's great.
That might help a little bit, but not get new people on board. That's the problem right now.
So let's just come up with a plan with everybody watching today of moving forward for the next like 2 or 3 days, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it.
All right. Any other items for discussion? I just want to mention that the Newtown Supervisors meetings on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, a Zoom meeting. And if people have any questions for supervisors, you have to send in comments by email. And the address is comments. Excuse me?
No, I'm sorry.
The address is comments@newtownpa.gov. You can send in comments about anything that is on the agenda or not on the agenda. There's very little really of consequence on the agenda. We're trying to keep these agendas very light since we are not able to meet in person. The only, there's not really much on the agenda, but I encourage you, if you have comments and even comments about what we just spoke about, they'll be read at the meeting. I mean, it's one thing for me to say something, but it's great if somebody sends in a comment who's recognized in the community, and that may make a bigger impression on people. The only other thing I have to talk about is that the township is still working with the jointure. I don't know if everybody knows what the jointure is. It's the 3 townships, Newtown, Wrightstown, and Upper Makefield. And maybe that's the way to do the bingo, is to have it, jointure bingo. I don't know. But right now we have newtownbingo.com. I don't want to buy another URL, please. But anyway, the jointure is trying to come up with a new ordinance to allow convenience store and gas station, also known as Wawa, to be located somewhere in the jointure. And that's because if we don't have a use for that, our attorneys feel we'll be sued because we're not providing for that use. So that's moving along, and at some point, it'll be more public at the Planning Commission meetings. And I'll try to keep people informed about those meetings. So any other questions that people might have about other items that are important to you in Newtown?
No, I just had a generalized question, John, with everything that's going on, and we're not part of the the Board of Supervisors. I mean, I know this is probably an open-ended question, but what do you guys, how do you guys? I mean, I'm not sure how to ask the question. It's hard. I'm sure it's hard for everybody involved, but when people come up to you and talk to you, what kind of advice are you giving people in the whole situation? I mean, you're one of the heads of Newtown, so I mean, I'm sure people are asking you for what they should do and advice wise. What are you saying?
What they should do regarding
just with the whole situation. I try to give advice the best I can, but I'm only 41 years old and I haven't been there, done that. You know what I mean? I'm sure people come up to you and say, John, what do I do? I don't know what to do. This is crazy. Like, help me.
I don't have the answers. That's why I have these meetings, because I like to hear from people who might have some answers. And I try to do surveys, for example, on the township wants to do summer camps. That's another source of significant revenue for the township. And yet people are probably even more concerned about sending their kids to camp than they are about eating at restaurants. So, you know, even when the survey so far is saying that even if we have these guidelines from the CDC, and if we're following all those guidelines, more than half the people are somewhat or extremely concerned about having their children go to camp. So, you know, there's that to get over, and I don't know how to give people more confidence, except that we make sure that we do everything as safely as possible. And that's why I thought getting some kind of task force, I know that's a big thing right now, on the national level or the state level. The state is having a task force. But like you said, Eric, this is also a local thing. What might work for Upper Mayfield in terms of how to get business going is not going to work in Newtown, because, you know, we have more businesses, more diverse types of businesses and other activities. And, you know, so.
We just have more people overall in the township, right? Like we
Sure.
have more population than Upper Makefield or Wrightstown does, right?
Right. Wrightstown only has like 3,000 people, and we have 20,000 or so. So anyway, I mean, obviously it's uncharted territory we're heading into. And, you know, I'm looking, you know, have to look to higher authorities in the state and federal level to figure out how to best get things started again. So I don't have all the answers, even if, you know, we were talking about, you want to have outside dining. I know some restaurants in Newtown have outdoor seating, and that's in their certificate of occupancy and allows that. And it probably is much, I would feel much safer eating outside in the patio with distancing than inside. And the restaurants that don't have this capability are maybe at a little bit of a disadvantage. But the township, I don't know if it's in control of that. I've talked to some people about this, but they'd have to talk to the state to get the variances or whatever.
Excuse me, can I say something?
Yeah.
If you noticed on Westchester Borough in Chester County, they, as a borough, the Restaurant Association got together with the borough to waive any variance on having outside dining to encourage to bring back the local restaurants. I don't know if you saw that on Philly.com, but I noticed that on Sunday.
Henderson High School posted that the other, they posted it either this morning or last night. I saw that. Yeah.
And Wildwood's doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a home run. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's something I would consider bringing up at the next supervisors meeting. And if people have comments about that, please do send them in.
Do we submit that today for the meeting on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.
Just submit to comments at newtownpa.gov.
Okay.
And some other ideas I got from another survey I did of businesses was to allow more larger signage. For example, you know, Newtown has all these signage regulations, restrictions. maybe we need to relax some of those so that the businesses can advertise, through their signage. I don't know how much that might help or not, but that was one suggestion.
Well, maybe that would help if everybody that's on this chat, all 8 of us, maybe, well, minus John because he's on the council, would, maybe could do that tonight and write in and just all bring that up as one big unit. That maybe we should do outside dining for all the restaurants and maybe we should have bigger signage.
Well, it's up to you what you want to submit to be read. Every comment that's sent to that email address will be read at the meeting, and it's televised and it's archived on the website. I for one would like to see more comments from residents. So it's up to you.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone,
Attending.
for your time.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thanks, guys.
Be
Be
safe.
safe.
Bye.
Thanks,
Take
John.
care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.